in which Rafael Arellano was murdered. Felix, and in which this subject appears, dressed as a clown who murdered the campus. Unimaginable wealth, ruthless violence, lethal betrayal. El Chino Antrax had it all in this episode. We will unravel his turbulent life in the world of drug trafficking that took him to the top and brought him down. Welcome to Revealing the Mafia. Chapter 1: Origins in Sinaloa Childhood and Environment. Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, known as El Chino Antrax, was born in a small community on the outskirts of Culiacan, the capital of Sinaloa. This region, famous for its natural beauty and its agriculture, has historically been marked by the omnipresent presence of drug cartels. During his childhood, El Chino Antrax was surrounded by the shadow of drug trafficking, with stories of organized crime leaders that were passed down as local legends. His family, like many in the region, struggled with poverty. The lack of economic opportunities often led young people to seek alternatives outside the legal path. In this context, the attraction to the world of drug trafficking became irresistible for some. Chapter 2: Rise in the Sinaloa Cartel. First steps in drug trafficking. Young Chino Antrax began to get involved in drug-related activities from an early age. At first, these activities were relatively harmless, such as being a lookout for the local cartel. However, his bravery and combat skills made him stand out, which allowed him to perform increasingly dangerous and lucrative tasks. During this time, his path crossed with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, an iconic figure in the world of drug trafficking and the leader of the cartel. From Sinaloa, El Chapo saw potential in the young Chino Antrax and incorporated him into his operations. This association changed the course of his life and brought him to the center of power and wealth in the Sinaloa Cartel. Chapter 3: Founding of the Antrax Cartel. The rise of a criminal empire. Chino Antrax, having risen through the ranks of the Sinaloa Cartel and gained experience and renown in the world of drug trafficking, he made a bold decision that would change the course of his life and that of organized crime. In Mexico, he founded his own cartel, the Antrax Cartel. With boundless ambition and ironclad determination, Chino Antrax laid the foundations for his criminal empire. His goal was clear: to achieve unprecedented autonomy and establish a unique identity in the world of drug trafficking. Founded at a time of declining violence and rivalries within the Sinaloa Cartel, Antrax quickly became a powerful force in its own right. Chapter 4: Rivalries and Violence. The Battle for Dominance. It was a turbulent time in the world of drug trafficking in Sinaloa, and rivalries had reached a boiling point. Chino Antrax and his cartel were in the midst of a fierce confrontation with other groups, such as the Zetas and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. The fights for control of strategic territories and drug trafficking routes unleashed an unprecedented wave of violence. The dispute over drug trafficking routes was the spark that lit the fuse. These routes were the holy grail of drug trafficking, allowing for a steady flow of narcotics into the United States, the largest and most lucrative market in the world. The clashes became inevitable, and violence became the currency of the conflict. Kidnappings and extortions became common tactics. Cartels sought to eliminate the competition by kidnapping key members of rival groups or demanding exorbitant ransom payments. Scenes of horror became familiar, with decapitated or mutilated victims, all in an attempt to instill fear in the hearts of enemies and local communities. Intimidation and control of territory were also essential to maintaining supremacy. Cartels left threatening messages at crime scenes to warn other groups to stay away from their domains. But the violence wasn't limited to intimidation tactics. Clashes often involved acts of extreme violence, such as mass murders with bodies discovered in clandestine graves or dumped in the streets. The escalation of brutality shocked even those who thought they had seen it all in the drug world. As tensions mounted, alliances between criminal groups shifted constantly. What today might be a strategic alliance could become a deadly confrontation. Tomorrow, no one could fully trust anyone, and paranoia gripped everyone involved. In some cities, the cartels adopted urban guerrilla tactics, using roadblocks, armed attacks, and ambushes to maintain control. The local population lived in constant fear, caught in the middle of a struggle that it seemed endless. These clashes not only involved the cartels themselves, but also security forces. The cartels attempted to infiltrate and corrupt local and state authorities, gaining privileged information and protection. The battle for dominance was not only fought on the ground, but also in the hearts and minds of the people. The unleashed violence generated endless cycles of revenge, further fueling the spiral of destruction. This was a story of bloody rivalries where the thirst for power and wealth manifested itself in acts of cruelty and unimaginable violence. Violence had become the norm in Sinaloa, and Chino Antrax and his Antrax cartel were at the center of this storm of fire and lead. Chapter 5. Fall and Arrest. The circumstances of his arrest. The fall of Chino Antrax, a spectacular event that shocked organized crime circles and authorities around the world. His arrest took place at Amsterdam Airport, the Netherlands. An unusual setting for someone who had lived most of his adult life in the shadows of drug trafficking. The circumstances of his arrest are remarkable. Chino Antrax was arrested in a joint operation by Mexican and Dutch authorities while attempting to board an international flight. The arrest was carried out unexpectedly and without major incident, despite his reputation as an extremely dangerous criminal. The arrest of Chino Antrax marked a milestone in the fight against drug trafficking and left many wondering how a criminal of his caliber had been captured in this way. His arrest had a significant impact on the world of organized crime. Its consequences were felt throughout Mexico and beyond. Chapter 6. Legacy and Mystery. Chino Antrax after his fall. The story of Chino Antrax still had a surprising final chapter. On May 8, 2020, he was found dead in a vehicle in Culiacan, Sinaloa. His death was shrouded in mystery, and there is speculation that he could have been the victim of a score settling within the world of organized crime. The mystery surrounding Chino Antrax is multifaceted. On the one hand, his role in the world of organized crime, as well as his connections to other powerful figures, remain topics of interest to researchers and journalists. What else did Chino Antrax know that was never revealed, such as his interactions with other criminal organizations? His legacy is equally controversial. Despite his violent criminal career, some people in his homeland see him as a local hero, a symbol of success in a region plagued by poverty. His story has inspired songs, ballads, and even television series. His name remains a reminder of the lasting influence of drug trafficking, Mexico, and popular culture in general. We've finished this brief history. If you want more content, click the subscribe button, activate the bell, and hit like. See you in the next video.